Oh, boy, get your tea and some popcorn. Power panel now, Cassie Smedile, Vice President of Coign and former RNC Deputy Communications Director, and Brad Howard, President of the Corcoran Street Group. So, Brad, I want to go to you first just on what it looks like behind the scenes right now. I know you're pretty tied in. Losing with grace is an option.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vice president certainly lost with grace. I thought that speech was an incredible speech. I think it reminded folks that, even though she's conceding this fight, which she conceded, which is the appropriate thing to do, that we're not going to concede this fight. And I think this fight is for a vision for America that we
Okay, we don't need her talking points, Brad, but I would love an answer to the question. So she took the high road, is what you're saying. They didn't follow her on it. What is going on inside your party?
Yeah. No, I agree. There's a lot of soul searching going on with the party and everyone looking to blame. Now is not the time to blame. Now is the time to figure out what went wrong. It is not voters' responsibility to come to us. It's our responsibility to go to them. And voters do not like where we are or where we are going. And so we've got to fix that. There's no singular problem why we lost. When you lose nearly every sub-demographic possible, that is a major, major problem. That is not tweak around the edges. That is not blame one president or the nominee or the liberals or the conservatives. It is just a across-the-board problem, and we've got to fix it.
Yeah, it looks like in some cases in your party, blaming the voters is on the table. And as you just pointed out, don't blame them. Interview them. Axios writes this: the road to Democrats' Damascus requires deep, honest self-reflection, and many party insiders tell us entirely new leadership. Peggy Noonan with this op-ed: a triumph for Trump's Republicans. That party needs an intellectual autopsy, an audit of its beliefs. Yesterday, a Harris Campaign Finance Committee member reiterated that.
There's going to be a lot of soul searching the next couple of days. I hope that we can do an honest assessment and not criticize the people who have ideas and solutions about how we can move forward. Because if we do not acknowledge the rightward turn of America, we're going to keep losing.
Cassie.
Yeah, I think what Brad said, that soundbite you played right there, that's the right prescription for what Democrats should be doing as they go forward. Any party, when you lose, I mean, I've been on the losing side of election nights as well. You say, okay, where did we get this wrong? Where did the voters fundamentally disagree with our message? And that's what needs to be happening on the Democrat side. Instead, the finger pointing or just frankly saying, the person should have won it. Kamala should have been enough, or Joe Biden should have been enough. That's where you're getting it wrong. The American people writ large, as Brad said, every demographic nearly in the country shifted towards Republicans and for Donald Trump, but also down the ballot Republicans on Tuesday night, because there was a fundamental disagreement with the message Democrats have been putting forth for years now, the policies that have been coming out of this White House and Democrat-controlled Congresses, and there needed to be a decisive reckoning against that, and that's what the American people delivered. And the Democrats, if they want to win again, they would be wise to take note of that and not point fingers at people.
Look, I talk to voters all the time. Election night, live audience, voters' voices, and I make it my business to know their business, what works and what doesn't in their lives. And I got to tell you, there were a lot of relieved Democrats and Republicans and independents whom I've been talking with this week, because they can now talk about their politics openly. So to see one side still want to punish voters is really a tough spot to be in. I'm hoping that the left will take Brad's lead on this. Former Democratic National Committee Chair Howard Dean offered this advice.
The problem is we haven't done a damn thing since 2008 about getting out into the grassroots. I always call Washington middle school on steroids, because they work hard, they're very smart, and it's all about them all the time.
Brad.
Well, first of all, Harris, I'll say that you do a fantastic job of tapping into what voters are concerned about, and I always admire that about you, and I love coming on. That's the reason I love coming on your show. Again, this is not one problem. It's not a grassroots problem. It's not a messaging problem. It's not it's just, we've got a massive problem here. And I suspect a large part of this is that our party is dominant. Look, I'm from rural Arkansas, first person in my family to go to college. Like when you have people that are in very well-off situations trying to tell blue-collar voters what they need to fix their lives, that's a problem.
Well, Donald Trump has reached American dreams, and he can reach those people. The left needs to take a note. Always great to have you. Thank you for your kind words about the show, Brad. Outnumbered is next.